I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates. You're not better than me. You're not better than me. Let it sit. Let it filter into your head. You're not better than me. But I appreciate you being here, and I love all of you guys at home. The low-income whites who watch the show, I adore you. You know the way that I feel about you. And as a result, I said to Shannon before I came in today, we are reading the comments. And Shannon goes, we have a lot to get to. And I go, Shannon, no. Shannon, no. And I put my hand over her lips gently. I put it over her lips. I said, Shannon, no. It's about the fans who watch this show. It's about the underprivileged, low-income whites rolling around in poverty who love and watch us, who need their comments read on the air. It might be the only successful thing that ever happens to them in their life. And Shannon gathered herself and she said, Mike, you're right. And then we ended with a gentle human resources-like hug. And that's the way we do things here. There's a lot of love, but not too much. And everything is by the book, emotionally and strategically. We are in the small studio, which means our numbers are down. And every time our numbers dip, they put us in the small studio, and they're like, you know what? You better get your numbers off, or the next move is the bathroom, which is the smallest studio here. And then it's actually not. It's the bathroom, and then it goes the cupboard. And we will do a podcast in the cupboard. And if you're thinking that my pride will be hurt and that I'll somehow throw my hands up and quit, you're wrong. You never met me, because I will just keep doing it. I will keep doing it until we do this podcast outside in a birdhouse. So my guest today is unbelievable. She's been on a bunch of other shows, and I was just strolling through her. Strolling is the wrong word. Damn it. I was perusing her Instagram, and I noticed that she's been on a lot of other gas digital shows. So we've never met before. This is a blind date of sorts, and I know you guys like that. You like to see things just unfold, and that's what's going to happen here. So I'd like to welcome Felicia Gillespie to the show. Felicia, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I said hi to you quickly outside. Mm-hmm. You were on your phone. Were you posting to social media?
I was not.
Were you sending a text or a tweet? Were you on a thread?
No.
Which is a word people are using now?
None of these.
Okay. Well, I won't. It is an investigatory podcast, so I'm obligated to ask you, what were you doing on your phone then?
I was sending a message trying to book somebody on a showcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Book somebody on a showcase. So it was industry stuff.
Yes.
A showcase, for our fans who live in the middle of the country, they don't understand show business. So a showcase is a show where different people come on and perform stand-up comedy, and they do smaller sets, but everybody gets a little taste. It's like a wine tasting of stand-up, and that's what Felicia was trying to put together. But you guys don't understand that because you work at Fridays or a Bennigan's or a box factory. So you don't get show business, and we have to explain it to you, and we just did. So sorry, not sorry. So then I asked you also if you were from Austin, Texas, and you said you did live in Austin.
I was
Clear it up for me. Set me
Okay.
straight, which is a big part of this podcast.
Right. I was just there for 2 months.
Okay.
And I just got back a couple of weeks ago to New York City.
Okay, because were you on meth? Because I noticed most of the people, I've been to Austin a few times, are on meth, roaming the streets, aggressively confronting people who are walking, and doing errands and stuff.
I
So
thought
were you
about
doing
it.
that?
I mean, I thought about it, but
Yeah.
I did not partake.
No. Why is that? Why is Austin like that?
I'm not sure. The heat, probably.
The heat. Or isn't it weird if it was not the heat, but it was the humidity?
Yeah.
If the humidity caused it and not the heat. And everybody's thinking the heat. It's like, oh, we got to get some air conditioners. And meanwhile, it's the humidity that's making them like that.
Yeah.
Not the fentanyl.
People who were not knowledgeable
Yeah.
about Austin told me that it was dry there.
It was a dry heat.
But it's not.
It's not a dry heat.
It's a thick, wet heat.
Do you ever do that where somebody a thick, wet heat? We can go into that, but we won't. Thick and wet. That's how our fans like it. Okay. We couldn't leave it there. We couldn't just let that hang in the air.
Like the humidity.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if we were going to get it or not, and sometimes there's a dramatic pause for effect. So my train of thought, where's my train of thought? The heat, the humidity, the air. Oh, I know what I was going to say, and this is important. I'm glad I didn't forget it. When someone tells you a seemingly innocuous lie about the weather, do you ever fight to get back to them and go, you know what? You may think that was nothing, but that was something. You are a liar, and call them out?
Every time.
Every time?
Every time.
Even if it's a casual elevator conversation on the way down, it looks like a nice day today, and then it rains, and do you hunt that person down and go, it wasn't a nice day today? You're a liar and a piece of trash.
I do. I have a story about this.
Okay.
I was at someone's house party, and they told me that they were on the red carpet for being on the show Hee Haw or something like that.
Yeah.
And I told them, no, you weren't. And then they kept telling me they were, and I said, no, you weren't. And everyone at the party turned on me for calling him out.
Wow.
They thought it was rude for me to call him out in his own house.
Oh, it was his house?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he had to go, where's the picture of you being on? You would have a picture of if you were on a hit show like Hee Haw. And you're probably too young to understand it, but it was a big deal back in the 70s, Hee Haw. You and Shannon are kids, and Natalie wouldn't even be listening to this conversation. She's so young. But Hee Haw was a big deal, and did you say, where's the picture of it?
I did. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
And I said, well, who did you go with? I mean, it was a deep investigation.
Wow. And the guy had no answers for you.
He had some answers, but they did not add up.
You're an investigator.
I am.
That's why I'm so glad you're on the show.
Yeah.
You investigated, and when you weren't getting the answers that you want, did you turn up the heat on them? Did you say, it helps if there's somebody who's a good cop and goes, let's get a cup of coffee. Don't worry about her.
I think what happened was that the other party goers turned down the heat on me.
Why would they accused you of malicious prosecution?
Yeah.
That's a group of words that our fans are bewildered by. Malicious prosecution is when you go after somebody and you're doing it for your own political reasons. So I don't know what your political reasons could have been at a house party. Maybe I don't know you that well. So you wanted to make yourself the center of attention?
No, I just want the truth.
I know you want the truth, and that's what you're going to say. But do you think that party goers were like, she's trying to make it about her? She can't stand that this guy had success on the show Hee Haw, which is a great show. And she's trying to take the spotlight for herself, because as entertainers, we're all kind of narcissists. That's probably what their inner monologue was saying.
Well,
and then they turned on you.
Yeah, someone pulled me aside,
Ooh.
and she said, look, why don't you he's an old guy. Why don't you just let him have it?
Yeah. Let him have the hee-haw. Let him have it. And did you then say that you were did a guest starring role in The Jeffersons?
Oh, man.
That would be a good way to counter. Yeah. That's a good way to be moving on up, which is from The Jeffersons. That was from The Jeffersons. Our fans are too young. They're too young. They're on Snapchat and vaping, so they don't get it. They don't get what we're saying, Adults. We're the adults in the room. So are you usually that fun at parties?
I used to be, yeah. And now I do let everyone have it. It's not worth it,
Because you don't. Do you drink?
Rarely.
You rarely drink. Mm-hmm. Do you smoke?
No.
Do you do any kind of like Molly or any of these designer drugs that the kids are doing now that make you rub up against each other while drinking water?
I have
getting dehydrated.
I have no outlet. I'm boring. I'm very boring.
But your coping mechanism, and that's a word our fans understand. A coping mechanism is to call out the host and then to start drama that way. If we were on a Real Housewives show, you would start drama.
100%. If there were lies in the air, yes.
And did that guy, I wouldn't have kicked you out of my party if I was at my house and I invited you over and I made an announcement in the middle of the party that I was on Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen, who now owns the Weather Channel. So I was on that show, and if you were not on that show, Mike, and I would be like, oh, Felicia, don't start with me. I was on Comics Unleashed. I cannot be leashed. You know that about me. And I was on the show, and I have the royalty checks for $11.75 to prove it.
Show me.
Yeah. What? This is a party, not an audit. God, I would be so frustrated with you. But would I throw you out of my party? No. I would put you in a smaller room by yourself. And then I would check in with you. I'd be like, have you learned your lesson? Because we're having hors d'oeuvres out there. And if you want some, I used to teach. If you want some, you'll come back out and you'll apologize. You'll have to make an announcement that you're making an apology and you retract your statement. And if you refuse to do that, not only would I leave you in the smaller room, I would move you to even smaller, like a pool house or a screened-in area, so you're not even basically inside anymore. Screened in is almost outside. Or I might even put you in a gazebo, which is inside and outside at the same time. And that's where you were going to be outside pretty soon. But it's like giving you a chance because I'm compassionate.
All of these options sound like heaven compared to being in a room full of liars.
God, there's no breaking you.
No.
You have a heavy resolve. You have a heavy resolve where it's like you're not going to break, and you don't care if it ruins the party for you. You don't care if it ruins the party for everybody else. You don't even care if you're indoors at the party anymore.
That's right. I have a humid personality.
You have a human personality. It's very heavy. It's interesting. All right. Well, we got to the bottom of that, thank God. So you were in Austin. Why did you leave Austin? Why? Because there's a lot of rooms there. Austin is a great scene. I've been there a few times in the last few months, and it's really a great scene. So why did you pick up and leave?
The heat.
The heat. Are you sure it wasn't the humidity? Or was it the heat?
It was the heat. It was the temperature.
Yeah.
Once it was above 100 degrees every day, I said I can't do it.
Because you're light-skinned.
Probably.
And is that because of we don't care about ethnicity, we treat everybody equal? But are you Irish?
I am yeah.
You're partly Irish.
Yeah.
And what's the other part?
Lithuanian.
Okay. A Lithuanian Irish. And did you make like a statement on Twitter before you left? It's like, it's so hot here that they're trying to squeeze out all the Lithuanian Irish.
I did make some kind of video. I made a video.
You should have made if you're going to call people out by not being on a show that they weren't on 50 years ago, I think it's important to make a statement before you leave a town like Austin that you don't want to be there anymore because it's not welcoming. The heat and the sunlight is not welcoming to a fair-skinned Irish Lithuanian.
Yeah, and the day I was leaving, I was packing my car, and when I opened the front door of the house where I was staying, a giant spider ran into the house for the air conditioning.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Do you, was it like a Confederate spider, do you think, was trying to make a statement that you're not welcome here? Go back to the north.
I didn't think of it. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
won. I killed it. But
You killed the spider?
I did.
Well, that's music to Shannon's ears because she loves animals unless they're ugly. Then Shannon hates them.
That's true.
Shannon's she's like an exterminator and an influencer.
Wow.
At the same time. She likes animals, but only if they're hot. Shannon, I want to draw your attention to this, that someone left their sunglasses in the small... Not only are we in the small studio, someone is trying to big dog us. Someone left their sunglasses in here, and I think it wasn't an accident. It was a sign. It's like our podcast that we had is High Flying and Top Gun, and yours is in the clouds. So let's prove whoever this is wrong by like stoking the algorithm and also telling our friends to subscribe, because we're in the middle of a hot investigation now and we can't do it ourselves. So, Felicia, you were pushed out of Texas.
Yes.
By the heat, by the humidity, by the climate. Okay. And the climate said no. You said, I'm going to start a new life here in Texas. And the climate said, absolutely not. Take your Lithuanian Irish ass out of here. And you responded by just going and leaving.
And killing the
spider. That was the straw.
killing
that
the
broke
nature
camel's back.
around the place before,
Yeah.
leaving a trail as I go. Dust trail.
Do you feel anything when you kill a bug?
Yeah. It depends on the bug though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I feel it's a burst of emotion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's orgasmic. When you kill a bug, you're like, yes. Do you celebrate it?
Yeah, if it's one of those, what do you call them, silverfish?
Yeah.
I really do celebrate that one because they're quick.
Okay.
They're hard to get.
Oh, so when you kill a bug, it's like you're testing your own reflexes.
Yeah.
I was talking about the emotional part of like ending a life, and if that life goes on to another place and whatever. You're just thinking about testing your reflexes against nature.
Right.
Which is an interesting way to approach a bug killing.
Mm-hmm. If it's a fly, I don't have any feeling at all.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Right. And they're kind of all the same.
Right.
And they don't have individual personalities or feelings. I mean, that doesn't sound like anything upsetting, Felicia.
But I'm sorry, a silverfish though is
What
quick.
is a silverfish? Explain it for our fans
I think
who've
it's
never
one of
left
those.
their house.
Oh, they're like about an inch long, and they're very, very quick, and they have all of the legs.
They're all legs.
Yeah, 100 legs or something.
And as a woman, do you feel like they're trying to compete?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're trying to outrun me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to put up with that?
No,
Did you play sports in high school?
no, I was in the marching band.
You were a marching band member.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so much better than the orchestra because they're so lazy. They just sit there and play. And you guys are marching around, playing and bringing music to people instead of like being so arrogant and having these people just have to come to you and be like, I'm so great, listen to my music.
Yeah, I brought an orchestra personality to the marching band though.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. You didn't like to march?
No, I did.
Okay.
But I was, felt better than everyone. Still.
What did you play?
The saxophone.
Oh my God, that's a sexy instrument, isn't it?
Yes, that's why I picked it.
Yeah. Do you pick it that way? Mm-hmm. And you said, my plan is to be sexy and march around. It's to march around and to be sexy. And so many women, I think, do that. And men also, men who play the saxophone. It's a sexy instrument.
Yeah, that and the drums, and I don't understand any other instrument that's picked.
The trombone.
The trombone, it's not sexy. I mean,
Does size matter when it comes to instruments?
uh,
Somebody with a trombone is like, yeah, I'm packing.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. If you have that bass drum,
Yeah.
that's the biggest one, right?
Yes. What about a bugle? Do you find that's somebody with a bugle has made a conscious choice not to play the trumpet,
Right.
And it's almost like a war time horn, and it's like, do you think that you could date somebody who played the bugle because they're always probably trying to get a confrontation going with you, and you're such a cool like saxophone playing person that you were like, I don't want any trouble, Daddy-O. Is that how you talk as a saxophone player? I don't want any trouble, Daddy-O. Let's just have some fun. And he's like, no. And it's like arguing. It's like, you left the food out again. And it's like, hey, you play the bugle and I play the saxophone. And it's like, I don't know if we can make this work because you have such a confrontational instrument.
Right. Only if he could jazz it up, like if he can riff on the bugle, then that would be good.
Okay.
That's sexy.
It is sexy. Mm-hmm. But it's like bagpipes. Do you ever play bagpipes anything other than a funeral, a cop's funeral? It's like if you meet somebody who plays the bagpipes, it's like they're just gonna be. That's really where they're gonna be playing.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Well, my marching band, my high school's mascot was the Highlander. So
What is a Highlander?
A Highlander is like a Scottish, with the kilt and the sash.
Right.
So we had a person who played the bagpipes.
Oh my God! And it was your mascot that played the bagpipes. And in our today's culture, your mascot would be celebrated even more now.
Really?
Yes, for a man wearing a dress.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Yes, back
That's celebrated.
then he was spit on at the beginning of parades.
Because of the Scottish thing, or because of
Because of the kilt. It's such
kilt.
it was, thought of as such a nerdy thing. I mean, I think it's hot, it's cool. It takes
Would you date a man with a kilt? Just be honest with our fans.
with who owned one?
Who wears one every single day.
No.
You would not date a man in a kilt?
No.
Can I ask why?
Yeah, it's a skirt pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's not, but that's not. I mean, unless he was one of those big guys who could chuck telephone poles up into the air,
Right,
he's very
right.
strong, then I'd go on a date with him.
You would go on a date.
A date.
But if he goes on a date with a kilt, you're like, that's all. The first thing you would say on the date was like, is this a one-time thing, the kilt? Because if it becomes a multiple-time thing, I don't think I can do this.
Right.
That's very interesting. I never thought about that, wearing the kilt to a first date. But this is kind of you're Lithuanian and Irish, and I think that if you add those two cultures together, it equals Scottish, doesn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so you're like in that Nordic kind of Braveheart kind of culture. So is a kilt that outlandish? And only if he's doing a hammer toss or a shot put or something, like
Right.
something strong, a
Those
strength.
big boulders.
Yeah. Do you are you dating someone
No.
right now? Single? Mm-hmm. A lot of our fans are salivating right now. And what kind of things do you look for? Our fans are dating. A lot of them are incels, but they're trying. And we like to do, I don't want to step on Shannon's toes because she has a show about dating, but sometimes it goes into ghosts, which we don't do here. But I would like to talk about what do you look for in a man? Is it important that he plays an instrument that's not the same as your instrument because that would be too competitive?
Right.
2 saxophone players, that would be, although it does work with dueling pianos.
Right.
If you were both piano players and then you could do dueling.
That's how you could resolve your fights, yes.
Yes. And you charge a cover and then everybody celebrates you. God. With hits of the 70s, 80s, and today.
I feel like that's what I'm going to start looking for now that we've...
Dueling saxophone?
No, piano.
Dueling pianos.
Yeah, yeah.
But another man who plays a man, I assume that it's men or
Yes.
non-binary?
I date men.
Men.
The straightest of them.
The straightest of men? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if the guy wears cologne, you're out. Right? It's like, because that's a sign of weakness for you?
Right. Aftershave is good.
Aftershave is
Cologne is too much.
good. Yeah. I understand that. So is there a backstory behind when you left Austin? How long were you in Austin?
2 months.
2 months.
Yes.
And where were you before that?
I was in the South, in a vague area of the South, bunch of states, like 3 states down there, bouncing around for a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm. And when you would get into it with the good old boys who were trying to like cheat you out of money or like win your heart, you would say, because you were in the South and 3 states, you would go, "This is not my first rodeo." That would be a good line. Don't you think that would be a good line to say?
I think it's great.
Okay, so why were you bouncing around the South, Felicia?
I was just lost in my life, I had to take a break from reality and just to do some things, and that's
And
what
when
I
I
did.
find that someone is lost, I always go to the question before that, and that is, what was the inciting incident? I'm a writer and a storyteller. What was the inciting incident that broke you and it caused you to be lost and caused you to roam 3 of our most poverty-riven states in the South?
Well, I think that COVID caught up with me because I never did a lockdown personally.
COVID chases you?
Yes.
Okay. It caught up with you. You never did a lockdown?
No.
What were you doing?
Traveling and living my life and
Right.
doing everything you weren't supposed to do. God. Yeah.
I think that was saxophone playing illegal during COVID. It's almost like you're blowing the germs into the air so that the elderly and obese people can die. But they don't even know that they're being killed because you probably are really good.
That's a good point.
It's a great point. We make a lot of great points on the show, Felicia. COVID had you kind of like confused, and you were were you trying to escape the disease?
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
I was trying to escape the aftermath and the effects that COVID had on my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was you're not one to be isolated.
I mean, I like being alone, but yeah, I'm not one to be told to not travel anywhere.
Yeah, you don't like to be
Wash
told not to travel.
my hands
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah, washing your hands does get on my nerves too.
Yeah.
You know? So you're traveling. You were in the South. During COVID, you're in the South traveling?
No, I mean, I know that I'm being very vague right now, and I apologize for that. It was there. This is an investigation, and you are an investigator, so
Yeah.
of course you're going to want to get to the bottom of it. But no, so COVID was 2020, right? And so I just kept living my life, and then it all caught up to me. I think everyone still is kind of, has a little bit of the aftermath of COVID.
But what does that mean, it caught up to you, Felicia? Was there something that happened, an old friend called you from home, or was it a parent who said, "Get your act together, Felicia," and you said, "No, I'm going to the South to roam around mechanical bull contests until I find my true purpose"?
I think we all did things during COVID that we wouldn't normally do in our lives.
Like get vaccinated? I said, give it to me in the throat. That's how much I want it. Yeah. Johnson, and Johnson. Okay, so you're being very vague, Felicia, and you were roaming the South, and what was why? What was happening? What pushed you? What were you feeling?
I did reunite with somebody from my past.
Oh my God, I knew it.
Yeah. And then we got together.
And he was just there. How did you meet? Slow it down for us. Our fans are desperate for a story of reuniting. And how did it happen?
Originally, how did we meet?
No.
Okay.
Because it was in the past, right? So I
Right.
assume it was high school. He was probably...
A little after that.
It was after high
Yeah.
school. And then you reunited. And how was that happening? Did you march right up to him? Did you break off from the band and march right up to him and say, "Sweet baby, let's give this another run"?
Over 10 years went by.
Okay. God, it's great when it cools off for 10 years and you think you've gone your separate ways, and then you reunite again. And he's wearing a kilt, but only for one date.
I was going through some personal things and trying to find my way out of them, and I messaged him out of the blue,
Yeah.
telling him that I needed to tell him to F off for the things he
Oh,
had
I
done
thought you were
me.
going to tell him that you needed some money. And then if that doesn't work, then you tell him to F off. I thought that was standard training for being a woman, Shannon. Okay. All right. No. Okay. So I don't want to taint the story.
Okay.
What actually happened? You reconnected with him, and you told him to F off because you were going through like some kind of a spiritual awakening where it's like,
Yes.
confront your past.
Yes.
Set things straight. It wasn't right that they spit all over you or whatever to you
Yes.
and wronged you. And it's like now you have to confront them in order to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was very
It's
psychological.
like a Viking funeral where they light the ship on fire.
Yes.
They put the body on a boat and they light it on fire,
Yes.
which is against maritime law, for those of you keeping track. But it's a Viking funeral. So you were trying to do that figuratively.
Right.
Okay, and he said, and you said, F off. And then he came back with what?
I'm sorry.
Wow. And did that take your anger and just like, there are certain things where you're so angry and you're so, seething and your mind is caught in this pattern of revenge. And then someone says something as simple as, I'm sorry. And it just dissipates immediately, which tells you that your thoughts are just not real. And they're just illusions and a construct of your mind. If you're so viciously mad and someone says I'm sorry, and then the thought immediately dissipates and you feel complete compassion for them.
It dissipated so much that I slept with him.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Things are getting sexy. Oh my God. This is turning into a Felicia. This has turned into a Cinemax late night Red Shoe Diaries type of thing. It's like you were so mad at him, you slept with him.
Well, I wasn't mad anymore because
Okay.
he apologized.
Yeah, and you slept with him in order to. Is that how you seal the apology? You sleep with somebody because that's remarkable.
That's me saying I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
You forgived him with your body. Okay, not many women will do that, and that is great. And then what happened? God, I'm on the edge of my seat now.
Well, and then we, just kept talking.
Okay, but how did you? Was he in a different state?
Yeah.
So you drove there and slept with him? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty great. Mm-hmm. What if you had a flat tire or something and called AAA and they were coming out and they go, okay, we can have this by tomorrow. Where are you going? It's like, I'm going to go sleep with somebody who I just forgave. What's your issue? You tell the AAA guy. It's like, I need this tomorrow because I need to go have sex with somebody who I had a grudge against, but now I've forgiven him. I'm sure the AAA guy would want to know that.
Yeah, and now I have a grudge against the AAA guy.
Yeah, and then you have to sleep with him.
Sleep with him if he apologizes.
Yeah, and it's just forgiveness can really get you into a lot of trouble if you forgive people that way, which is the nicest way to forgive someone, I have to say. It's really a great way to forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, so you went to go see him. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty great that you went to go see him.
Yeah.
And then you stayed with him for a while. Mm-hmm. And that lasted a little. What happened next? I'm sorry, I'm filling in the blanks.
We ended up getting into a relationship.
Okay. And you were in a relationship before, were you not?
No.
No.
I was single.
No. I mean, but with him, like 10 years ago.
No, I was not.
He was your enemy, or was he a friend?
He was nothing to me.
Oh, wow. So you ended up getting in a relationship with him.
Yes.
And what was you know how you usually say things at the beginning of the relationship, like, this is where I want to go. He says, this is where I want to go. And then you're like, okay, let's try to make this work. Is that how you usually do it?
Yeah. Well, he wanted it, and I said no for about 5 months, and then I gave in.
This is after you slept together?
Yes.
He said no.
No, I said
You
no.
said no for 5 months, but you
Yes.
continued to sleep with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like great.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's wanting it.
Yeah.
He wants the relationship now.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? You
Yeah.
have no strings attached.
Yeah.
Benefits.
Well, because he doesn't want you sleeping with anyone else.
Possibly.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. Did he say that?
No.
But he kind of implied, I want to lock you down because I don't want you driving around to another person that you might have had a thing with that you've forgiven.
Well, I told him that I was in this place where I was like, I think I am ready for another relationship, but not with you.
Oh my God. That's a hurt piece. If you said to me, I would be hurt.
Well,
by
this
that.
was the kind of guy who would not be hurt.
Okay.
But he was like, it should be me.
Yeah.
So.
And I like the fact that he's making a case for himself. Did you kind of like that? That he's like, let me make a case for myself.
Yeah, it's flattering.
You need to be in a relationship. I'm here. We're doing our thing at night under the sheets. And now you're going to go and try to be with somebody else. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Let's explore this.
Why not
Let's
me?
investigate this to keep it in line with this podcast.
Yeah. So for 5 months, after 5 months, I was like, okay, I'm convinced now.
Right.
He wore me down.
He wore you down, but what was the issue? Was there something inherently that you weren't attracted to about
Yes.
him? What was it?
Well, I don't want to get too specific,
Yeah,
but
because he might listen to this.
Right. He had a past that I wasn't really, I didn't think would make him a good candidate
Okay.
for a serious partner.
Yeah. I like the words candidate and partner. It removes any emotion from it, and it sounds like we're doing a campaign. A candidate and a partner. He was not a good candidate and a partner, but he wore you down and he convinced you.
Yeah.
Did he bring you flowers, or was there anything that he did where it was like put him over the top? Or he's just repeatedly sleeping with you and doing a great job at that?
I mean, I liked his salesmanship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that is a good.
Yeah.
I like that.
if you're, yeah. So he gave me a lot of attention, which I like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I found that too. I find that women do like attention. Mm-hmm. Shannon, do you find that women like attention?
Yes, not too much.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Shannon's on the fence about it.
No, because too much then gets annoying and like desperate.
But what if you love the person? If you, it's a, you know, because Katie said it to me when we first got together. She goes, I go, all right, I'll text you. She goes, yeah, but don't text me too much.
Yeah.
And I got offended by it because I was like, how about I don't text you at all? How about that? How's that work for you? Like, what is this? And then later she explained to me, she goes, no, it's you get these guys who just like text over and over. And then it becomes like, if you originally like the person, it's like they're suffocating you and you no longer like them. So she's like, I really liked you and I didn't want you to do that. I didn't want you to ruin it for yourself. And I said, oh, okay, well, I wouldn't do that anyway because that's not the kind of guy I am. But I do understand that's what she was saying, and not don't text me, which is how I took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be too much, and that's kind of what started to happen with me.
Right.
So it was too much.
It was too much, and then so that's why, is that the inciting incident where you like, I got to get in my car and go into the South and roam free?
No, I went to the South with him.
Oh, he was with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I've got to break away.
Yeah.
And then I went to Austin.
Okay.
And now I'm back here.
And were you here originally?
Yes.
Okay. So you started comedy. Did you start comedy here?
No, I started in Pittsburgh.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Youngstown.
Nice.
And that's a city. For those of you that don't know, it was a steel town. And then steel left, and it became a rough place to live, the inner city. And now it's making a comeback. And it has since the 80s. Anyway, so that's are you an emotional person?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've been told that I'm not.
When's the last time you cried?
Oh, recently.
Okay. Like when you found out you had to do this podcast?
Yeah, exactly. This morning.
That's a clip! Shannon, it's a clip!
I got it.
Okay.
But I want to clear everything up.
You want to clear the air?
I want to clear everything
Okay,
up.
there should be a segment. Clear the air!
And I want to say that I'm...
But clear the air that's humid. It's humid, so you need to clear it. Felicia, clear the air.
I'm good now.
You're good how?
I'm good now.
You're good. Are you in therapy?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you talk about word for word in your last session? I didn't think you were going to tell me, but I have to go for it. That's why the fans tune in and they subscribe and like.
Well, can I ask you? I think that my therapist may have given me some cheap advice.
Yeah. And you didn't say bad. You said cheap.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm on a sliding scale
Yeah.
fee,
Okay.
right? So I'm not paying. So I'm thinking maybe he's giving me the cheap advice instead of the...
That's really great.
Yeah.
That's really something. He might be doing that.
He's got salmon in the back,
Yeah.
but he's just giving me trout, you know?
Yeah. Maybe he's like, or if you get too emotional, he goes, that's a different bracket. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a different fee.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's keep it to your superficial problems. If it gets too deep, that's a different price.
Right. Well, here's the advice he gave me. He
Right.
said, I have trouble letting things go. And he said, why don't you pin up a note on your mirror that says, let it go. And in the moment when
Yeah.
you're paying, and this is a professional, you think, God, that's brilliant.
Right.
But then a couple days later, I was like, wait a minute. That's something that my enemy could tell me, you know?
Let it go, yeah.
You call someone up and you're like, I can't let go. And they're like, oh, yeah? Write a note, you know?
Write a note to self. Note to self, let it go.
Yeah.
Did you try it?
Nope. I knew it wouldn't work.
Right. But are you a skeptic like that? Do you just like, because I'm more of a person who's like, if it makes sense to me in the moment, I'll try it. And I'll just like, but you know, a lot of people, like I find that really smart people, they are skeptical about stuff and they don't even try it because they're like, they find all the things wrong with it and they punch holes in it and they're smart, so they're very certain of it, and they go, that won't work. Whereas I'm not calling myself dumb, but I'm like not the highest IQ guy. So I'll be like, oh, I will try this. And not only will I try it, I'll give myself over to it wholeheartedly. So I would have put the note on my mirror and been like, let it go. And you're right, though. Your enemy, do you think that your enemy got to your therapist? That's how, and that they're trying to sneak that in so that you will be forgiving again and maybe go sleep with them? Is it a possibility? Is it a possibility? God, I never thought of that angle. That your enemy got in touch with your therapist, doubled their fee because you were paying less.
The enemy was paying the full amount.
Yes. He's like, whatever she's paying you, I'll double it. Tell her to write a note to herself that says, let it go. And then that way, you end up forgiving him or her.
Mm-hmm. I need to watch my back, pretty much.
Yeah. Apparently. And your front. At this point, you got to watch your front. Oh, my God. Okay. Oh, my God. 41 minutes in. This has been riveting. How did you start stand-up and why?
How? I signed up for an open mic
Okay.
when I was 18.
Pittsburgh?
Yes.
All right.
At the Funny Bone.
Okay.
And why? Because when I was 8, I saw a stand-up comedian on TV, and I didn't know what was going on. But I thought it was the most beautiful thing. I was like, why this? I'm on the floor coloring.
Right.
Yeah, like, on my stomach coloring. And my dad's watching something, and there's a stand-up comedian. And I was like, why are people laughing? And my dad says, because he's funny. And I said, well, if he's so funny, why isn't he laughing? Because I didn't understand because
Right.
I'm 8. And he was like, because a good comedian doesn't laugh at their own jokes.
Wow.
And
Your
then
dad
I was
really
like,
nailed it.
yeah. And I said, wow, okay, so comedian, that's what that is. And then I was like, I want to do that. I didn't know what he was talking. I was too young to even understand, but I thought this is a beautiful exchange of energy, you know?
You actually formulated that thought when you were that young? This is a beautiful exchange of energy?
No, but I mean, it was internally in
Yeah.
me, right? To be like, for a person to be able to make a whole crowd of people laugh with just words
Right.
is wonderful. I would love to do that.
Right.
So then I waited 10 years until I could get into the club on my own
Right.
and then did it.
And first of all, how was your relationship? Are your mom and dad together?
Yes.
How was your relationship with them? Did you have a good childhood?
No.
You had a rough childhood?
Uh-huh.
And why was your dad emotionally distant and your mom overbearing and loving? Or was it the opposite? There's always one person who's like kind of stable if they're together for a long time and the other person is a wild card.
You know, I think my mom was more of the wild card. But that doesn't mean that my dad was overbearing.
No, that
So-
means your dad was like kind of like a steady, like
Oh,
a
gotcha.
steadying
Yeah.
energy. And your mom was like, well, my father was my father was tumultuous and great in a lot of ways too. But he was like, my mom steadied the ship.
Okay.
So which person did what in your household?
Man, I don't think anybody was driving this boat.
Yeah.
I think I had to do it as a child. Start learning, like, let me fix this, let me fix that. So I don't think anybody was at the helm.
They weren't at the helm, but were they emotional with you? Did they compliment you? Did they tell you you had talent? Did they openly show you love?
No, I didn't get that.
Did they tell you that? Did your father and mother say, I love you?
No, I don't remember that. No, we say it now.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I do not remember that happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was there something in you that, and I find this with kids, I find it in my own life that I was trying to gain approval of my father, so I would do things that I thought he thought were great. Play football, I wrestled, all his athletic things. And I wasn't necessarily athletically gifted, but I did it because I knew he valued those things. So did you start playing saxophone to be like, I'm gonna get really good at this so that I can shine, and then my parents will shower me with love and affection?
You know what? I think you nailed it. I never really thought of that before.
Right.
So are you in touch with my therapist? Are you?
I think I am your new therapist. Now, I'm not on a sliding scale. I'm going to demand full price.
Okay.
Okay. But I will not talk to any of your exes.
Okay.
No matter how much they offer me.
Okay, good.
I'm incorruptible. I'm the Elliot Ness of relationships. Okay. Interesting.
I did pick the saxophone. I mean, it's a cool looking
It
instrument.
really is.
I was in the 6th grade. And I was like, ooh, I want that one.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad, even when I was younger, saying, I love how a saxophone sounds. I love the sound that it makes. So
Yes.
that stuck into my head,
Right.
I think.
Maybe it's stuck into your head. Maybe if I play and get really good at it, you'll manage to say the words, I love you, to me. And I won't be traveling around the South searching for affection during a pandemic.
Right.
That's very interesting. So do you find that being a musician and a performer that way translates over to stand-up?
Well, yes.
Yes. And is it true that people who take up a musical instrument or learn another language, are you bilingual?
No.
They say that people who learn a musical, my brother is a super talented musician. He is a super talented, he just doesn't do it professionally, but he's a super talented musician. And it says when people learn a musical instrument at a young age, it increases their intelligence.
Yes, that is true.
That is true. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that in a condescending way to me as someone who never played an instrument?
Yes.
And if you are saying that, could you please slow it down so I understand every word? Yes, it is true.
My band director told us it was true.
That's really
And he
great.
said, you guys are smarter than all of the other students.
I think it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does something to your brain where it opens up pathways.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the specifics of it because I didn't play an instrument and those pathways are not open in my own brain, but I did hear that and I'm just parroting it now.
Are they forever closed?
I don't know if they're forever closed, but it would be tough now to learn a musical instrument. I think it's as you get older. I'm 50 now, so it's harder to learn a musical instrument because your brain, it's always plastic in terms of plasticity. It can always, you can always do it, but it's easier when you're younger.
Right.
They always say that.
Yes.
Now it's like if I had to learn another language, it would be tough. But what do you think is, this is like a jury duty question. What do you think is harder, learning another language or convincing someone that you can't speak English?
Definitely learning another language.
I think so too. Because pretending not to speak English is more of an acting exercise, and you just have to make sounds.
Right.
And you just have to choose an animal.
No English.
And then make a sound. Like dolphin. Who are convicted sex offenders. Dolphins are sex offenders. Okay, so it's very interesting upbringing. How's your relationship with your parents now?
It's it's good. We talk all the time, but it's
Can I use a word?
Mm-hmm.
It's serviceable.
Exactly.
Is it?
Yes.
It's pretty great. Mm-hmm. So you're more affectionate and open with them now?
I'm not
before?
affectionate with them,
No.
but or open.
Is it cultural? Is it Lithuanian Irish? Is they're kind of
Yeah, Irish people are very closed off.
yeah, until they drink. Then they're very closed on. They're very takes many forms.
They don't go to the doctor and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. It's quite a journey that you had.
Yeah.
And what's your goals now? What would you like to do? Like, what do you want to do?
I want to
in
go to the
business?
redwoods. I want to go visit the redwood forest.
Are you a big nature person?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you, what's the redwood forest?
It's in California, and it's the big trees. The giant
trees.
Yeah.
And are you afraid of bears or any wildlife? Because we've had several articles on this podcast where bears have just come into people's homes and stuff.
Really? Yeah, that's in the back of my mind, but I don't think they're in that area. If they are, it's probably just a black bear, which isn't as dangerous.
As a grizzly?
Right, or a brown.
One bear you have to pretend like you're dead, and the other one you have to yell at them.
Okay.
Which one is which? And it's important. It's important to know that before you go into the redwoods.
I'm really not sure. I think I'm just going to wing it.
You know, it's funny to say when you're standing at the this is a joke, but you say it when you're at the foot of the redwoods. You yell into the redwoods. You go, because you know it's the redwoods. You go, does the carpet match the drapes? It's a funny thing to say to a forest.
Maybe it's the grizzly bear that you're supposed to play dead.
The grizzly bear you're supposed to play dead.
Yeah.
And because if you get lippy with a grizzly, he takes that as disrespect and he'll eat you alive. But the black bear, you're supposed to scream at the black bear. Yell at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
And
like
then they'll get freaked out that you're over emotional.
Yeah, that's why I won't go to the Rockies, because there are grizzly bear there.
Well, if you make it to the grizzlies, I think you'll get eaten by the cougars.
Oh,
The
right.
mountain cougars or something.
Very scary. I need a partner for that one.
Yeah.
I need a candidate.
Maybe if you would just let it go, like the note says on your mirror, and forgive the guy that you drove away from, maybe he would be up for it. But he does have a shady past. Mm-hmm. So, okay. You would like to go to the redwoods.
Yes.
Okay. But I meant more like career-wise.
Career-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's everybody's goal in this business to be headlining
Yeah,
everywhere.
right.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Keep getting better as a comedian.
I gotcha.
Keep getting more creative as a person.
Right.
Start doing something that has meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And any practices that you do? Like we're a big like meditation, yoga. I was waking up this morning. We have construction being done on our building, and it just feels like they're refacing the building, and it feels like what they're doing now is they're like pounding a hammer on metal for about 2 minutes so that we wake up, and then going to lunch. Taking a break for the rest of the day, and then we never hear from them again. So, but I said that this morning. I said, you know what? This is just what it is. I'm gonna relax and lean into it, and do a breathing practice, and do my meditation and affirmations and a cold shower and all these. I have all these practices to keep me running effectively.
Yeah.
Do you use any of them?
I do. I meditate and I journal. And
Journaling is great.
I like to make music on GarageBand. I don't have
Okay.
any instruments, but I like to mess around with the beats. That feels
great.
good. It's a
Yeah.
creative outlet.
Yes.
I paint.
Painting? Mm-hmm. It's painting. Painting is painting journaling for dumber people.
Yes. Especially if it's with the fingers.
Finger painting.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing you're getting into is like that the clay.
I've done that too.
That's great.
Yep.
It's therapeutic.
It is.
Does your therapist say no? Don't do any of that stuff because it conflicts with the advice that I'm giving you?
Yeah, he doesn't want me to get better too fast.
It's great. 53 minutes in, and we have to do a couple of things, Shannon. And this has been a great conversation we've been having,
Yes.
Felicia. And but I want to do plugs first, and then let's go to some comments, Shannon, if we could. Okay. Plugs. It's at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms, guys. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for watching the YouTube premiere every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Many of you have been on there now. And I jump on there once in a while just to interact with you guys because you guys deserve it. And I do genuinely love you. And I'm saying that with eye contact, unlike your parents. And I just think that please follow me, MikeVecchione.com. I have dates coming up, new dates. Shannon, can you put them up? And I'm traveling, so I hope many of you will come out to the show and we can sell some tickets. And I'm working on a new hour, and that also we can make it out of the small studio because you guys are listening to this podcast. Tempe, Arizona, July 28th and 29th. Mount Airy, Maryland, August 10th at the Frey Brewing Company. And Baltimore, Maryland, August 11th and 12th, Port Comedy Club, Baltimore. And then August 17th through 19th, Helium Comedy Club in Indy. So Tempe, Baltimore, and Indianapolis. Tempe, Baltimore, and Indianapolis. If you're in any of those cities, please check my Instagram or website and come to a show. Continue to support the pod. Watch my special, The Attractives, on YouTube. The numbers are amazing. I appreciate you guys watching and commenting. And that's what I have. Felicia, what do you got?
I run a showcase in the Austin area. It's about 30 minutes north of downtown Austin at a place called The Dig Pub. It's a free show, and we have killer lineups every single week. Also, hit me up on my social media, which is at a Felicia World everywhere. And all of the information is there. I will also be performing this Saturday at a secret show in a secret location with Jim Florentine, among other people. And you can go to my social media to check that out, too.
Jim is great. We love him. Friend of the show. And go see Felicia. She's opened up to you on this show. Now you go to her secret show. Shannon.
You can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. Wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigital.com/live. That's absolutely free. Sorry for the loudness in the background. Use promo code MVI. You will get a 1-week free trial. Plus, it gives you access to every single episode of the show we've ever done. If you listen on iTunes or YouTube, make sure to rate, review, tell a friend, leave a comment, subscribe. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. And send your questions, comments, or video investigations into MikeVecchioneInvestigates@gmail.com.
All right. Shannon, can you read some of the comments from, because I want to make sure we shout out the listeners who commented on the last episode, which was your episode, Shannon.
Yes.
And it was fantastic, and a lot of people loved it, and they couldn't help but writing in. They wanted to stop themselves, but they couldn't help it. They had to write in.
I'm going to click it. You're going to hear a sound for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see. Here, I'll just start from the top. First one, this from Tylo8328. These two are the best together. Wow. Lindsay1448, great episode. Love Shannon as a guest, and Natalie did a great job with the air horn distribution.
Compliments all the way around, Shannon and Natalie. My God, was it Women's Month again?
From FTLV2883, great episode. Love a good family reunion.
Yes, family episode. Natalie is our daughter.
Yes. I'm trying to see if there's...
Who's off to college and doesn't come home that much, but we still love her.
From Anne-Marie6060, Mike, watch you on Gas, but now got to boost your algorithm for YouTube. Love you.
Thank you so much for boosting the algorithm. God, this is such a difficult culture now. You show love by boosting the algorithm.
Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. This is from Ryan Cosman 9442. If Natalie or one of the other producers got abducted into an exotic species flying machine while these two were investigating UAPs out in the street, and then they were able to negotiate a rescue deal along with a treaty and nobody got hurt, that would be the most intense podcast of the effing summer by a long shot.
Okay. No one is kidnapping our Natalie for clicks. Okay? But I do applaud your creativity.
This is from Immortan Leo 3868.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a tall, jacked ex-con, me and Shannon would be so happy together.
Oh
Damn
my God,
genetics
Shannon,
to
your
hell.
thoughts and reactions?
I mean, it's like how not those things are you though?
Yeah.
Like how not tall, how not jacked, how not con are you?
Wow. I know how not tall I am because you tell me every day I see you.
Just like to keep you humble.
Yeah, you really do.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, go do a couple more.
Okay, from Freddie V. Mike, as a fellow attractive, I love you. We, though, will isolate you.
Because we threatened our fans into not listening to any other podcasts, and we said that we will isolate them from their families, and we will isolate them financially, and we will just keep them. Wow. And we told them not to look at any other podcasts. This is the domestic abuse model towards listenership.
There were multiple comments of people really enjoying your line about a moth being a butterfly without makeup.
It's a great one. When you see a moth, don't judge. It's just a butterfly without makeup.
198122 said osmosis was the wrong term.
Ooh. Osmosis is when water or another substance or air goes through a semi-permeable layer in order to get to... It's a semi-permeable layer.
I don't think it was completely wrong, the usage of it.
Osmosis. I don't think it was completely wrong either, but I guess our fans who are scientists are taking issue with it.
Let's see. Another one commenting for the algorithm. Oh, this is from at the Otter Ones. Mike, your hair is effing phenomenal.
I think we can end on that one, Shannon, because that's a mic drop moment. And my hair has been looking really good. And yes, I cut it myself this time. I oscillate between the barber and myself because I don't like to mess the bathroom up. But it is really looking good. And it's just fantastic. And I'm so happy with it right now. I'm in my perfect hair phase. My hair grows really fast, so I have to cut it once a week. And I'm grateful for that, too. When I'm in the shower and I'm washing my hair, I do affirmations to my hair, thanking it for being on point. God, it's so great. So thank you. We'll read more next time. Thank you guys for writing in and for tricking the algorithm into loving us. Unfortunately, that's what we have to do. But we love you guys, and I can't thank you enough for participating. Felicia, I don't want to keep you much longer because we're an hour and one in. But I really enjoyed you coming in and listening to your story. It's really something.
Thanks.
It's really a different one. You kept vague, but we got specific.
And I do.
And the way you kind of let me in, and our fans were... I think it really affected them.
Okay.
You know? So, where are you going now? What's the rest of the day like for you?
I'm going to UCB Theater to do improv class.
You're doing an improv class?
Yes.
And how long does that go?
6 weeks.
A 6-week improv?
Yeah.
Okay. And they ask you to sign up for more, and you can't say no. You have to yes and into another 6 weeks.
Okay, I probably will.
Okay.
Yeah. So that if I come on this show again, I will be better.
No, you will come on the show again.
Okay.
I did affirmation at you.
Oh,
affirmation sounds like threats if you're not saying that the person, if you're not telling them that it is an affirmation. Do you do affirmations?
No.
Oh, because you're too busy with finger painting? I never made fun of your thing. Why are you making fun of mine? Finger painting is great. What was your most recent piece? Or do you do a piece and then have a potential mate interpret it? And then you date them based on what it's like you're way off, it's never going to work, or you nailed it. Get in here.
That's such a great idea.
It is.
I never thought of it. I will do that.
Finger paint your way to love.
Yes.
God, we've made
Like this is what I look like on the inside.
Yes.
What do you think?
Finger painting your emotions. Mm-hmm. This is what I am on the inside. Can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? Maybe we should all be doing that. Maybe Tinder should just be finger paintings instead of it's what you're like on the inside, and then you swipe left or right according to what's on the inside.
Right.
Isn't that what
that
really
is
matters?
Brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's a mic drop moment, and I'm Mike, and this has been Felicia, and for Shannon, and for the whole staff, for Natalie, wherever she is, roaming the grounds. This has been Mike Vecchione Investigates, and we will see you guys next week. Guys, thank you for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates. And if you go to gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com, promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. Thank you again for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates on the Gas Digital Network.